welcome back. So some of you guys who saw my video on the Mark III FM sound unit probably remember this guy. This is actually just the outer case, but this was the very yellowed, not working Mark III that came with the sound unit that I repaired. So I wanted to open this guy up and take a look and see what might be wrong with it. So I opened it up, and first of all, I cleaned it really extensively. This thing was the dirtiest PCB I think I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was just really nasty inside. Now, most of the capacitors look pretty good as far as I can tell, although sometimes, you know, they look fine and they don't work. So I was just kind of looking around to see what might be the problem, and I decided after I cleaned it I would test it one more time just to make sure that it wasn't, you know, an issue with just too much dust in the machine. So let's see, maybe I can do this without subjecting you to my handheld camera work. There we go. So you can see here I've got my Japanese Master System, and this has Penguin Land in it, and this is just to show you that it does work and that all of our connections are fine. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, let's see here. What I'm going to do now is just take the plugs out of this guy and the cartridge and move this microphone, and I'm going to plug this in to, not sure if you guys can see any of this, plug this into our Mark III, and then we're going to hook it in to the same connections that we just had on our Master System. And they're the same, so it shouldn't be any kind of a problem here. Alright. So, now we have it hooked up, and let's see what we get out of this one. And this is exactly what I got before. Absolutely nothing. It looks as if the system is not even doing anything. It's not, you know, a video issue or anything like that. It's just not doing anything. Okay, so now that we've tested this out again, you know, I assumed that since it wasn't dirty that there's something else going on, and I wanted to just take another good close look at everything and just see if anything looked suspect. And if you look really close right there, you can see that there's this one IC that actually, right here, that has a big chunk missing out of it. And I can see the letters NEC on there. Sorry, I can't get this in a good place because of my tripod. But I could see the letters NEC on there, and I couldn't see what the numbers were, so I decided that I would just open up my other one rather than trying to look it up online and see what kind of IC this was. And the numbers ended up being 7805, and as it turns out, this is actually a voltage regulator IC. So I would assume that this is our problem. This is why we're not getting any kind of picture, any audio, any, you know, anything. Would be because the power is not actually going to it as it should. So I actually purchased, I'm not sure if this is going to focus, but it's very hard to read on there, but this is another NEC 7805. I purchased this for a whopping $1, and I'm just going to put this in, and there might still be some caps that need to be replaced. We'll have to see once we get it put in, but I thought this would be a good first thing to do and see what we get. Okay, so now we have our new voltage IC in there, and we're just going to test it out and see if it works now. Alright, looks like that's the only problem. Of course, now we have the PSG rather than the FM sound because this is just the Mark III. But that was the only problem with this console, so now I can put it back together and it's all good and ready to run. Okay, so we've relocated to the office because my wife is playing Assassin's Creed, and I don't want to get in the middle of her game here. But anyway, this is the last part of the process. Now, those of you who've seen my FM sound video may notice that this actually looks much, much whiter than it did in that video, and I guess in the beginning of this video. And so what I did was I actually took the thing apart, and it's wanting to stick here. Hold on. There we go. I took it apart and actually used some mild abrasive cleaner and a sponge and scrubbed it. And I'm not sure how well it's going to come across in the video, just how much whiter it is. Of course, I didn't do the inside, so there's a hair in there. Not sure what that's doing in there. But anyway, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to tell the difference between the inside and the outside, but if you can, and even if you can't, take my word for it. The inside is very yellow, and the outside is very white. So that's the end of the story here. I'm going to give this 24 hours just to completely dry out, make sure everything's nice and dry before I put the the PCB back inside. But once I get it back in, then it'll be good to go. So this system that was dead and yellow was fixed with a $1 part and a little bit of elbow grease, and now it looks nice and new. So this will hopefully be a win-win situation, because what I'll probably do is sell this one. And the good thing is, I didn't pay very much for it since it was broken. I get to keep the FM sound unit, and someone gets a Mark III for a reasonable price without having to pay, shipping from Japan or whatever. So yeah, win-win situation. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.